too. And that's not necessarily because there's a hierarchical structure and they've got their mindset on the bottom line, but it's because we're so diverse and have so many stakeholders and so many different feudal kingdoms, as it were, as opposed to any centralized authority. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of the challenges you see at moving universities and UF towards sustainability. And specifically, you know, for instance, I would be delighted if math professors here decided to use sustainable examples in their presentation of the material to students. And at the same time, I think I'd be really reluctant to try to enforce that. In fact, I'm sure I'd be reluctant to try to ensure that there was a sustainability component to every course, because then you have the threat of the big green brother pushing sustainability almost as a religion,
right?
That you get some severe reactions to. So how do you balance pushing the sustainability framework and agenda forward as fast as possible in a place where you're going to get some pushback and in a way that doesn't come off as too overarching, too high powered?
Well, yes, and I know I come over sometimes as a zealot for sustainability, because I am. But at the same time, being in universities for 12 years as a professor, I understand some of those politics and concerns that are going on. And the first thing to do is listen. So listen to what they know about sustainability, what they understand sustainability to be, and work from that definition forward. And then to show examples of how this might help their students become better prepared for the future. So it's not about I really think you do need to have this as part of the mission of the university, and it seems to be becoming part of the mission of the university. But I also want to give you that freedom to teach the way you want. I always liked that. I never wanted someone to come and dictate how I should be teaching a course. But I do want to give them the understanding that sustainability needs to be part of our way to move forward, or we're not going to succeed in any level. We really are in dire times, and we need to be cognizant of that and doing something about that. And mathematicians have a great potential to helping us. So again, it's first listening, then demonstrating, making the case for it. It's the same way you do in business. You'll listen to what their idea of sustainability, what they want to achieve. Then you make a business case for it. And then you try to broaden their understanding of what should be included in that. And so we did the same thing with professors, same thing with departments, same thing with deans. It's not about taking away something, it's enriching something. So how can we help enrich your courses with something that's going to be a needed skill in the future, something that's going to be needed for our success and our survival even in the future, as an institution and as a nation in that sense. So that's how I approach it. And again, I know that, I think it's 2017 was the Presidents of American Colleges and Universities climate initiative to go to a zero waste, zero carbon university. It's going to be hard to achieve, but we can move forward to it and see. And also, sustainability has to be part of people's personal life. They can't just put a sustainability hat or coat on when they get to the campus and leave it when they leave. So we need to integrate it into community. So it's always about bringing those stakeholders. But all corporations that are successful with sustainability also look at the community. They don't look at just the shareholders. They don't look at just employees or upper management or even their customers. They look at their whole community. So universities do the same thing. I don't want to equate a university with a corporation. I don't think they're the same, and I don't think students are clients or our customers either. I don't like that analogy. But there is that way of looking at it. Yes?
So why would a company bring you in?
Why would a company bring me in?
Yeah.
Any number of reasons. One, they can be embarrassed by their public relations. Two, they can see that sustainability is happening and they want to know more about it and how they can embrace it. It may be driven from their employees wanting to have more sustainability. It can be driven from the C-levels, realizing that they have grandchildren and there may not be something left for them. And often it's driven by money. They see sustainability as a way of doing better financially. And so I come in and try to do all But often in the case where I'm working with United, they brought me in to do waste minimization because they were embarrassed they didn't have recycling. Okay. Now, that's a big project. And it's going to take years to finish it. But once that started, all of a sudden they started seeing the other possibilities of sustainability. And they said, well, can you help us with procurement? Well, can you help us with energy? Can you help us? I said, yeah, it's all together. You can keep putting it one by one, but we can look at it as a whole, or we can keep doing it one by one. And now we've got groups talking together who haven't been talking together before. Because now they see how corporate real estate affects the customer experience, that affects environment, that affects legal. And so now they can see it, and then they can work, instead of solving the problem as it comes to each group, solving it once for all. And that's what sustainability does. When you see companies like Interface, which is a famous coffee company up in Georgia, that they survive because they implemented sustainability early on. And other companies see that we're going to have to start paying for carbon. So what's that mean? How does that happen? So that's something else I work with, the GHG emissions and carbon markets for goods. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not so successfully, but we're getting there. Yes. Which way? You choose. I don't know.
Sometimes some of these solutions to sustainability can be seen as can be oversimplified. And I want to give you an example of that. I just came back from a sustainability conference in Arizona, where a lot of the topics were about we are populating our country in houses and facilities with solar energy. And when I saw the backpack that you saw on the side of my head said, oh my God, that would be so cool. The other side saw the backpack in a landfill or being shipped to China or India to be dismantled or put in a landfill there. So when I look at that, I'm thinking, okay, we're solving a problem by going to more green energy temporarily. What are we going to do with the thousands and thousands of solar panels that are going to stop functioning? We got to become more efficient in the future, so everyone's going to want to change to a more efficient one. And there is nothing very minimal work is being put forward to try to find what would be the afterlife of that. And like that would be one example out of many I can mention of things that might seem sustainable initially, but how really sustainable they are. How do you manage that type of decision making and thinking about sustainable solutions?
That's a great question, and it's something that also coming up with green jobs and what is a green job idea. Well, there's a difference in my mind between sustainable and just being green. So, cradle to cradle or total cost of ownership, some people want to look at, is you have to design the product so that it doesn't become a waste. So we're at a point with solar panels where they're still silicon based, but there's a lot of materials that can be recycled from them. We still have, and even some silicon recycled. But then now they're looking at organic, so organically produced silicon or organic materials or nanotechnology that can go into solar panels. So the idea is then every input, as it becomes an output, becomes an input for something else. So you design a backpack that's made out of organic cotton that can then be recycled, or out of material that can be reused, or that can be composted or easily taken apart, just as a car or anything else. So that's the cradle to cradle idea. So that you have to think from the beginning of where's it going to end up, getting it, and not just going to, well, solar's great, so let's build it. Yeah, there's a life cycle analysis for all products that you can do. See how much energy it costs to create it, to dispose of it, and what energy it's going to create during its lifetime, and get a balance to see what's best. But yes, for the future, for the sustainable future, every product that starts out as something has to end up as something, right? Because it can't in the end disappear. Thermodynamics just won't let us off the hook